Welcome everyone, this is On Just Restart. The recording situation this time around is a little bit different because I'm away from home, but what I want to talk about today is when we could actually reasonably expect Metroid Prime 4 to get revealed. We've been waiting on this game for such a long time. Could we really be close to an actual reveal for Prime 4? Well, let's talk about that today. Now, before we jump into things, let me first very quickly talk about my social media. You may see a few different things here on screen. You can check that all out. It is linked in the description below. And of course, if you like what you're seeing here, you can subscribe or perhaps consider joining as a member. So if you follow the channel, you may notice that I've been talking about a few different things in a lead up to a September Nintendo Direct. A couple days ago, I put out a video talking about potentially an imminent Mario announcement, and now we're talking about maybe a Prime 4 reveal. Now, I don't want to mislead people into thinking that I believe everything is going to be shown off in a Direct in just a couple weeks. I do not think that's happening. However, there is reason to believe, a few reasons in fact, that a September Nintendo Direct could be happening. And with that, there is also a possibility that this Direct could be more of a significant Direct, an actual general Nintendo Direct. We haven't gotten one since February. Considering that Nintendo skipped their June E3 timing, considering that we don't really know much about 2023, there is reason to consider that this September Direct, beyond just the typical big September Directs we usually get every year, that this could be a sizable presentation. And with a sizable presentation comes new announcements, new reveals. One of those could include maybe a Mario game. Maybe we'll learn more about Breath of the Wild too. And maybe they'll finally blow the lid off Metroid Prime 4. And that's what we're focusing on today. I think there's definitely a chance that maybe there's a Direct next month, and maybe they show off Metroid Prime 4. And there's a few reasons beyond just, hey, there's a big Direct potentially, maybe they'll talk about a game they've been making. There's more than that. So firstly, early this year, Retro Studios posted a new banner art, and we've seen some different pieces of art come out promoting Retro Studios and hirings and things of that nature, but this art is clearly Metroid in nature, and it seems like they're promoting something, hinting at something, teasing something, and the speculation has been Prime 4. It has had the black, light blue sort of color palette that is similar to the initial Metroid Prime 4 teaser trailer back in 2017. So it seems like they may be building up to a Prime 4 reveal. And we did get Metroid Dread last year. That was pushed. They had free DLC early on in the year, and there's a big rumor that a Metroid Prime remaster, a big boy Metroid Prime remaster, I'm paraphrasing Jeff Grubb here, a reputable industry insider, he's saying that it's coming out this holiday. Hasn't been announced yet. We are more than midway through August, so I am growing skeptical, but it seems like that because it may be like a big holiday release, Nintendo is saving it for a big reveal in a big Direct, which kind of just leaves a September Direct. Hopefully that happens when we get Metroid Prime revealed and announced, and it comes out maybe in November. Now, I want to clarify something here because I've noticed confusion in the past in the different comment sections and different videos. When I'm saying Metroid Prime Remaster, I mean Metroid Prime 1. I'm not talking about 2 and 3, that's rumored for later on. And I'm not talking about 4, so don't confuse that here. Now, we are talking about Prime 4 for this video, but I just want to make the distinction. I'm talking about Prime 1 Remaster to come out this holiday. That's the rumor. Maybe we'll see it this November, maybe it'll be announced in the September Direct. But let's assume that that is actually happening, and it may not, but let's say it is. If it is happening, then there is also reason to consider that maybe they'll also show off a little bit more than just Metroid Prime Remaster. Typically when we get one game in a series, it's like a remix or remaster or remake or enhancement of some sort. The developers will touch on the next bigger expansion in the series. The best example that comes to mind is The Legend of Zelda. We've seen this multiple times, like with Skyward Sword HD. Basically what I'm getting at here is that if we are going to see Metroid Prime Remaster confirmed, revealed, announced, whatever, during this Direct, it does raise the possibility of maybe we'll also get a teaser for Prime 4 for next year. Now, maybe next year's too soon. This game is supposedly a fairly big game. considering the way Nintendo has treated it in terms of announcing its delay and things of that nature, is very similar to Legend of Zelda. They've talked about how they want this game to be comparable to the initial Metroid Prime in terms of quality, and what that suggests is that they're being very careful about this. They did have an entire development project that they were working on beforehand that they restarted entirely. From what we understand, at the very least, they've been working on it since early 2019. I hope a little bit beforehand, just because I want it to come out sooner. But basically, that's when the restart happened, around then, and we are now well into, actually, the second half of 2022. So it's been over 3 years. It's been 3.5 years since the announcement of the restart, with the hope that maybe they started a little bit beforehand. But at least 3.5 years of development so far. You'd think that we're fairly close to seeing something from the game. And for it to come out next year, say in the second half of the year, that would be pretty much a 4.5-year window since the restart. So even if they were starting from scratch, from complete scratch, that's still a pretty sizable development window. So I don't think we're really in the territory of being overly ambitious and eager and really just sort of hoping that they're materializing a game out of very little time. They've had time. So I think soon it's actually fair to expect the fruits of those efforts. And I would be saying that even more confidently if it wasn't for the obvious, the big pandemic situation that has caused all sorts of issues with the industry. There's been numbers of delays, things have not been coming out when expected, even now, even a couple years removed from when the initial breakout occurred. So things have been a mess. Things have been hard to expect and anticipate. So while it may make sense to think that Prime 4 is very well into development and is nearing completion, given the whole pandemic situation, that may have derailed things entirely. So we may be even further out than we think. That is also something to consider. So as much as I think it makes sense to think that Prime 4 is nearing completion, it also might not be. So let's definitely take this all with a grain of salt. This is, at the end of the day, speculation. But let's consider a couple things here before we close things out. How are they going to go about showing off this game again? I think it makes sense to tie in the Metroid Prime Remaster into another teaser for Prime 4, ultimately to start showing that off later on. But there are the rumors of 2 and 3, maybe they'll come out with those before Prime 4 comes out. How that delays things, hard to say. But maybe they may want those to come out next year, and Prime 4 comes out after that. That's something to consider. So we may not see Prime 4 until 2024, which is a long ways off, but if that's what it takes for the game to be ready and to be the best thing it can be, so be it. Especially if we are getting a pretty nice remaster of Prime 1 that's going to feel like a truly modernized version of this game, and not just like a simple one, but supposedly a big boy one. Basically, what I would probably call a remake. But for the sake of discussion, let's just assume Prime 4 comes out next year, okay? If that happens, how do they go about showing off this game? Is it going to be something like The Legend of Zelda where they save it for a big event and finally blow the lid off of it? Or is it going to be something more like maybe Splatoon, where they give us an initial trailer and then we skip a direct or two, and then in the year it actually releases, they start to actually reveal a lot more information about the game? Or is it going to be something like a Xenoblade or a Bayonetta 3, which is more comparable to its sales potential most likely? Maybe they won't say much about the game until we're about a year away from release. So with Bayonetta 3, we did get a trailer last September Direct, and the game is coming out in October. So a 13-month window there in terms of showing off the game truly, with an actual trailer, with actual gameplay and stuff. That could be what we're looking at here. Or it could even be like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, where they showed off nothing. It was basically just a rumor I believed, but it wasn't revealed truly until February of this year, and it came out in July, which is a heck of a short window there. What are we looking at here? If I had to make a guess, simply based off how Nintendo's been treating Metroid lately, I think we're looking at a shorter reveal to release window. Metroid Dread was revealed back in 2021, E3 2021, and it came out just a few months later that October. And supposedly, Prime Remaster is coming out this holiday, and if that's actually happening, it would be revealed in September to come out in November. A very short window, but given that it's a remaster saying it came out many years ago, that's something I could see happening. So, if I had to guess, I would say most likely we could be looking at something where Prime 4 is revealed and it comes out within about a year of its reveal. It's a bigger deal kind of game, so it's more than just a remaster. And I don't want to slight Metroid Dread. It's an amazing game. It was my favorite game last year. But in terms of overall scope and, I guess, quote-unquote ambition, it is a bigger deal. So perhaps there will be more of a marketing cycle to it there. So I do think it's going to have a relatively short reveal, like actual gameplay reveal to release window. But it's still going to be longer than the one they had for Metroid Dread. So if it's coming out, say, the second half of next year, it's going to be shown off to some extent at a September Direct in just a few weeks, or maybe an earlier Nintendo Direct for 2023. If it's not coming out till 2024, then we may not see it until the end of 2023 or early 2024. That's my perspective right now. That's how I think things are going to shake out. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, everyone, this is On Just Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care.